All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365 and opening week, which is brought to you by Crooked T. We are live in the Xfinity mobile studio today. And hey, it's me, not Bill Matz. Sorry to say, I am the assistant to the director of fun and games, Steve Jacot, and I will be your host tonight. Bill Matz is enjoying a rare and very well-deserved night off from Flyers hockey. And I think sometimes we all need a night off from Flyers hockey occasionally. I would recommend it for one's mental health and sanity, but it's early in the season. Let's get into it. So it's going to be a Steve squared night, okay? Steve to the power of two on PHLY. My co-host for the evening will be the great Steve Peters, or Petey, as we call him around these parts to prevent confusion. How we doing, Petey?
Well, we're good because it's Saturday and it's hockey day. A rare occurrence in the first week of hockey where Friday was hockey free. And so it's good to be back to puck tonight. And you know what? There are a lot of exciting tidbits for this Flyer team tonight before this one gets started.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of exciting tidbits. And I still can't believe that the most exciting, the most positive sports thing to happen in Philadelphia on Thursday was the Flyers losing 2-1 to the Florida Panthers. The best thing that happened in Philadelphia sports was the Flyers losing. And I haven't gotten to talk with anybody on a podcast about thoughts on that game. So, Petey, what were your thoughts on the Flyers and how they played in their season debut?
You know, it's tough. It's tough to ask for them to go into Florida, the defending Stanley Cup champion, and with a new coach, new system, new players. It was tough, and I think you could see some of the rush there still, especially in their top players. The disappointment for me is I think we were all hoping to see Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov go off. We were looking for those dynamic, great plays, and wow, what a pass, and that just didn't happen. I mean, there were a lot of good things from that game, though. And I know they talked about it in the postgame show, but you look at that third line and how well things went with Noah Cates' line. And when that line was on the ice, things happen. The problem is the Flyers need things to happen like that for the guys above them in the lineup. So that was one big takeaway, is how well Noah Cates on that line played. And secondly is how well Dan Vladar played. And if you recall, and I know you do, Steve, because you're Flyer till you die. Their goaltending struggled at times last year, and this was a situation where Dan Vladar played big, looked steady, looked calm, made the saves he was supposed to make. And if the goaltending can hold up like that, and we're going to see Ersson tonight, but if you can see them hold up like this, there's some good news coming for the Flyers, I think. And again, pump the brakes a little bit. We won't talk playoffs yet on October 11th, but let's just go for those little wins and set the bar just maybe a little bit higher than a season ago.
Yeah, little wins are big, and I'm glad you started off with Vladar. I wanted to talk about goaltending right out of the gate, and I agree. He looked steady Eddie out there. He looked like he was just a composed guy, which we will take mediocrity in net after what we've seen the last two seasons of Flyers goaltending. It's just been abysmal. And I thought he looked solid. That's a tough matchup, even without Barkov, without Tkachuk. Like, they're still a tough hockey team. They're a damn good hockey team.
They are, and they play structured, and that's something that they're going to run into tonight, too, is that structure of how well those two teams and how comparable Carolina and the Florida Panthers are. And by the way, Johnny, do not hate Zegras. Just want to see a little bit more from Zegras. No shot attempts, not just no shots, no shot attempts in game one from Trevor Zegras, a guy that you're just really hoping helps to contribute to the offense. So don't hate him. Just want to see maybe just a touch more.
Just a touch more. We want to see amazing stuff from our amazing players, right? We've got
exactly
highly talented guys in Zegras and Michkov. I will say my favorite takeaway from that first game and from the end of preseason was just to see how much that Noah Cates, Tyson Forrester, Bobby Brink chemistry has stayed together. Those guys are just unbelievable. They're just such smart hockey players. And when you put them together, they just fire on all cylinders. And I'm really glad that's still the case.
Yeah, and I think that's what we talk about, how all these changes occurred. And it's a line that played together a lot a season ago. So I think you got the familiarity on where to expect players to be. And I truly think that's part of the problem that you saw with the top six. And I know they're juggling some things up. I know we're going to get to that, but that's going to take some time. And especially when you're looking at high-end players. And you're talking about guys like Zegras and Michkov, when you want to have those players excel together, man, that takes time. That stuff doesn't happen overnight. And you look around the league at those tandems that are very good together. We're talking 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 years together to have that kind of familiarity, not a couple of practices. So no. I think it's going to take time for that top six.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go back to the goaltending real quick. So we got to see Dan Vladar in the first game. That was it seemed like a last minute change, right? Because everybody was expecting Sam Ersson. Sam Ersson seemed like the guy who'd be the primary starter. I know we're talking about a 1A, 1B, and I know that's kind of a sick joke for people when you're talking about Ersson and Vladar being 1A and 1B, but it's just the case. It is what it is, what we have with this team. But Rick Tocchet came out and he kind of made a statement that sounded like he flipped a coin to see who would be starting that night. Who knows what the decision making was there. I think that Vladar looked much more solid in preseason, so I understand that. But tonight we're seeing Sam Ersson in net, and his numbers have not been good lately. Last season, 22, 17, and 5, a shockingly good record. 314 GAA, 883 save percentage. Career, he's down to 888 on the save percentage. Ugly numbers in the preseason too. I'm not feeling great about Sam Ersson, but I would love for him to prove me wrong, and I feel like I've been saying that for years. What are your thoughts on Ersson?
It's a situation where this Flyer team is going to need to rely on both goaltenders. They're both going to see time, so you got to get Ersson in there sooner rather than later. As far as what happened, I'm thinking on game one, and I know I'm not there. I'm not in that room, but I have been in the room with Rick Tocchet for years. He relies very heavily on his goalie coach. He relies on that goalie coach to help him, guide him, make that decision on who's starting. And I'll tell you this, Rick Tocchet's not going into a game going, hey, I'm going to save Sam Ersson for Saturday. Like if he thinks that game in Florida, if Vladar is going to be the guy to put in there to give that team the best chance to beat the Panthers, Vladar's starting. And so I think it came down to, hey, this is really close. I feel better with Vladar. Our goalie coach is pushing for Vladar. I think that's the decision we're going to make. Ersson's going to get his time. He's going to get plenty of shots. He's going to get plenty of starts. But then I was going with Vladar. So I think Ersson getting the home start, I think that's good for him. Not the home start. The second start, I think you got to sit on the bench, take a look, and see what's going on. And I think that was good for Ersson. But I tell you what, one of the things for Ersson tonight, and the issue is going to be the amount of shots that he's going to face. We saw 34 shots from Florida. Dude, Carolina shoots from everywhere. They get traffic. They get people in the blue paint. It's going to be a problem. Ersson's got to he's going to have to fight through these screens, and he's going to have to find a way to see the puck if he's going to be successful tonight against Carolina.
That's the Flyer fan dream right there. A team that shoots from anywhere. Got the maniacs up in the upper level, just going shoot the entire game. And
yeah.
Carolina sounds like their dream team in that regard. I will say Sam Ersson's got to be a heck of a lot better than his previous start against Carolina. I think it's his only start against Carolina. 5 goals allowed on 30 shots against, 5-0 loss. Just ugly stuff right there. Not feeling great about the matchup, but prove me wrong, guys. And I will say it was encouraging to see them hang tough with Florida in a 2-1 game.
Yeah, one thing, Steve, too, is look at how the Flyers defended and how well and how much they've changed under Rick Tocchet and the importance he puts on defending in front of the blue paint. And I think that was a key. And I hope that makes it easier for Ersson. I hope that can limit the rebounds. I hope they can get those guys boxed out and he can see the puck a little better. I know if you look at the game-winning goal against Vladar, you'd like to see somebody in that shooting lane, but they weren't there. And I think with Tocchet's focus on this group defending well, I do think that's going to help Ersson. I hope he faces less rebounds. I don't think you're going to see guys, how last year we always saw blocking shots at all cost for the Flyers under Tortorella. I don't think that's the case. I think the case is boxing the opponent out of that blue paint, making sure Ersson can see the puck. Let him stop it. That's what he's paid for. So try not to block his eyes and get in the way of the shots coming in. I do expect that to make a difference as this season wears on. It takes a long time to shift a defensive zone system. It's hard. You get those habits, especially for young players. You pound these habits into them for 82 games. And now all of a sudden over the summer, you go, okay, we're changing in training camp. So expect this Flyer group to take a little bit of time to ease into the way Rick Tocchet's systems are going to make them play.
I think that's one thing we have to keep reminding of ourselves of is this is an entirely new system that these guys are learning. They're not going to learn it overnight. What we're really excited about tonight, though, is 2 guys that I think almost everybody was disappointed to not see in the lineup the other night are in tonight. So we are going to see Nikita Grebenkin and Jett Luchanko sub into the lineup tonight. And I think we're all just pumped to see these guys out there and see what they can do. 2 exciting young players. Why do you think they're playing tonight and not against Florida? Why were they saved?
Again, a couple of reasons. I think when you're looking at the game against Florida, I know Abel's isn't a big veteran guy, but Delorier is. And Delorier is going to bring that experience. And more importantly, he's going to bring that weight and that strength. And that's something that you had to have against the Florida Panthers. You saw them in preseason, their matchups with the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can't go into that game without toughness on your bench. You can't. If you do, I think you're cheating your team. And so I think Delorier was really important to get in that game against the Florida Panthers. I think tonight, you're looking at a game that you're going to need to use your feet. Carolina is a quick team on the puck in all three zones. And I do believe having Luchanko and Grebenkin in the lineup is going to give them that little burst of speed. And let's face it, that line's going to be exciting when they're on the ice. I'm excited to see how this fourth line goes. And you see Hathaway, Delorier, and Abel's finish with 3 shots on goal. I think this line's going to get more than 3 shots on goal tonight.
I would hope so. I would like to see just a lot more shots in general tonight. And you talked about the quickness, right? And I feel like that's the primary thing that Jett Luchanko brings to the lineup as opposed to, a Bowles and everything, where Luchanko is just a super fast player, super smart player, really into Luchanko, only 19 years old. And I know everybody really wants him to just shoot more, but I'm excited to just see him out there and see those hockey senses in these scenarios tonight.
Yeah, and the other thing that Jett did, and if you go back and look at some of his games that he played last season, one of the things he did, and I know he wasn't able to score his first NHL goal last season in his 4 games, but he had a lot of really good, high dangerous scoring opportunities from in tight. He's a guy, he's not a big, strong kid yet. He's 19, but his ability to get to that blue paint and get near the blue paint, and more importantly, to find open areas. So he was getting the puck last year. He just didn't get the opportunities that you were hoping he would get. I think that's coming. Like I'm excited to see this line, and I'm going to say it in the post-game show. We're going to recap how many shot attempts this trio had, because I think this is going to be an exciting line. You talk about his speed and getting quick on pucks. It's one thing that I think they lacked against Florida. And it's one of the reasons they lacked in their offense is they weren't able to get quickly to those pucks. I think Luchanko helps them with that. And Grebenkin's going to help dig that puck out of the corner. And he's a bull, and he's going to drive that blue paint. I think this is a much more exciting Flyer lineup than when you saw in the first night against Florida.
Yeah, I'm really just excited. I just want to see the kids out there. It's tough when you're seeing guys who, like Delorier in particular, it's like, I know what he can do. I know what he's capable of. Yeah. And I think Grebenkin in particular, like, I know Jett is a guy who's a future Flyer, right? And we know what we think his role is probably going to be, like second, third line guy. Grebenkin's much more ambiguous. Who is Nikita Grebenkin for this team moving forward? We know he's big and strong and he can score some goals, but does he have a long-term role for the Philadelphia Flyers?
Yeah, and right now, I think he does. And I think at 22 years old, I think what he brings is going to be much different than we're going to see from a Jett Luchanko. I think Grebenkin's a guy, I see him as a bottom 6 right now. And I think the fourth line for him right now, those are the kind of minutes he gets. But he's a guy in the future that if you get an injury in the top 6, he can play there. He's skilled enough that he can compete in those things. Can he do it for an extended period of time? I don't know yet. I think that's to be seen, but I think he's going to play Flyer hockey, and that I do think he's a big guy, and he's going to be able to play a little more physical and push some people around. And I think that's going to make that line so exciting. And I'd like to see him, but I like him with Luchanko. I think that's going to be an exciting pair that maybe if they have some success, it's something you're going to see for a little while to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we talk a little bit more about the lineup, let's go get a word from our sponsors out of the way here. So first off, we're going to talk about our friends over at Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide and live streams 780,000 events each year. MLB early payout offer. Let's talk about this. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. And we got NFL offers throughout the season. You got the Thursday Night Football $10 safety net bet. You got the Sunday Night Football $365,000 jackpot. Place a $10 bet on the first touchdown score and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Payable regardless of if their first touchdown scorer bet wins or loses it. Sunday Night Jackpot. Monday Night Football, 50% off or not 50% off, but 50% super profit boost token on same game parlays. And breaking news from Bet365, new customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And let's talk about Crooked T. You guys remember when Brandon Graham strip sacked the GOAT for the first Philly Super Bowl ever? Well, now Brandon Graham is bringing us his Crooked T strip sack pack so we can savor the flavor. What is the strip sack pack? Well, it's big, it's heavy, it's juicy, it's the kind of pack you want to show off. You already know, Crooked T is zero sugar and all flavor. And the strip sack pack is stuffed with 24 cans and collectible trading cards by Jordan Spector. Some cards are even signed by BG himself. Every case is packing heat. From the fridge to the tailgate, this is one sack you're going to be proud to display. So grab yours today at a store near you or on GoPuff. Love GoPuff, so convenient. And for our guy BG, we have to send a shout out to the Philly area bars carrying Crooked T. Thank you for showing the love to Sport and Social Allentown, Garage Fishtown, City Tap in Logan Square, Wicked Wolf on Chestnut. Go check them out for game day or a night out and tell them that PHLY Sports sent you. All right, let's get back to these lines, Petey. I'm excited to talk about these lines because I didn't love the lines in Florida. And tonight, they've mixed it up in a way that I'm a little bit more pleased by. Can we get those lines back up there, please, Mr. Producer? Thank you very much. So I'm loving that TK's on that top line with Couturier and Michkov now. And Dvorak, I love that Dvorak and Hathaway are kind of babysitting in different ways tonight, where Hathaway's got these guys who are like literally like over a decade younger than him that he's playing with. And Dvorak is playing with these guys that are not the most defensively responsible guys, where Dvorak's very good defensively. But I think my biggest thing is just having Michkov with Konechny again, having these guys that can be creative and produce that offense.
Yeah, I do think they're trying to find some offense in this mix up and this change. And let's face it, from the second that Zegras became a Philadelphia Flyer, everybody has been talking about Zegras and Michkov. Oh, can't wait to see those guys together. Can't wait to see those guys together. I would imagine that's a work in progress, because you talked about it and you hit it on the head. And we talked about how Rick Tocchet wants to be defensively responsible. Man, I get chills thinking about Zegras and Michkov defending together right now, like baby steps. So I do think you're right. I do think that one of the reasons they're mixing these guys up and not putting a Zegras, Konechny, Michkov line together is they want to have the ability to defend, and they're going to get out there against some of the top players in the league on the other side of the puck, and you're going to have to be able to defend them. And I don't think that's a good mix right now for the Flyers. So I like that they've separated them for now. I do think Konechny and Michkov is going to be a pair that's going to be much better suited to creating offense. I like Christian Dvorak. He was an Arizona Coyote where I worked for a very long time. I like him. He's responsible. He does his job. He goes out and just does what you tell him to do, but he's not going to get a lot of offensive opportunities. And I think being on this line with Zegras and Tippett, he'll dig out pucks. And you know what else he's going to do? He's going to be able to help in the faceoff circle. Zegras struggled in the first night. He ended up 43% against Florida. They're going to have to find a way to win more draws with that line on the ice. They can start with the puck. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if you see Dvorak take some of those draws out there with Zegras and Tippett. But I do think this balances the top two lines out, because we know what we're going to expect from Cates and Forster and Brink. You're going to expect a hardworking line that's going to get the puck and they're going to get to the net. And you just need to see more of that from that top six.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to see some dang offense tonight. You know, we talk about this team potentially being really exciting, and I just want to see them make some magic out there. And I think Zegras and Tippett, if they are let loose and Dvorak can handle more of that defensive responsibility, can really go out there and really just, I don't know. I'm hoping they can, do some special stuff out there on the ice tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to see more offense than you did against Florida. And again, it talks about, usually it takes, the offense is easier. You jump over the boards, you just go play, and defense takes a longer time to learn the rush reads and to learn the defensive zone systems. But when you're getting this new look offense and you're talking about adding a Zegras to this lineup, it's different. And it does take time. And especially the way Zegras plays, in that he's looking for behind the back passes, between the leg stuff. He's looking to make those great plays, but he's got to get familiar with his line mates. Can't happen in one game. And this is going to be a process for Flyers fans. Got to be patient, man. This isn't going to be today or tomorrow. It's going to take time. You just want to be in these games. You want to compete in these games, and you want to be around these games. And I think that's going to happen once they find their path offensively, because I do think defensively they are better than they were a year ago. And I think with Vladar, they're better between the pipes than they were a year ago.
I agree. So I think we have a little video we're going to play right now with a little scouting. So let's go to that.
Andrew, before you cue that up,
Yeah.
And I just want to get this, because the people that haven't seen me on PHLY before, and I wanted to say this, Steve, that this isn't just some guy breaking down game film. Like, I was the video coach for Arizona for 23 years. I worked under Rick Tocchet. He was the head coach. I was the video guy there. This is what I did for a living. I break down game film. So I just want to give that as a preface before you see this. Like, what does this clown know? Well,
what's this guy know? Come on.
Exactly. Now,
I'm just a guy. You're actually a guy who knows stuff.
It might not be right, but this is just give it a little sense of where this is coming from. Now, Andrew, you can cue it up. Let's take a look at what to watch for in tonight's game. First of all, you can't have any neutral zone turnovers. That means turnovers around the blue lines. If you try to make plays like this to the inside, New Jersey on Carolina, Carolina defends very, very tightly. They create turnovers in this area on both sides of the blue line, and then they get pucks going back the other way in transition. You can't turn pucks over or try to make cute plays at the blue line, and you're going to create turnovers. Carolina is going to get going back the other way, and they're going to work this on transition. And we saw the Flyers do this in Game 1 when they're trying to make plays through the middle of the ice. That puck's got to go off the wall, or they're going to have to use their partner. You can't throw the pucks away between the blue lines against this team. They're just too good, and they're going to be coming back at you on transition. And when they come back at you through the neutral zone, they drive the middle lane. That means the first guy is going to drive to the net. And somebody's going to have to go with them, because what happened to the New Jersey Devils is they gave looks like this where they allowed that player to get in behind the defense and have looks all alone in front of their goaltender. The Flyers can't defend like that. And you're going to see another thing as they get pucks to the net. There's a team that throws pucks to the net from everywhere. You've got to protect the net front. The Flyers, do you have to do a better job? They can't leave players all alone like this in front of the net and give Carolina opportunities like this. And again, you're going to see they're going to try to make plays where they get pucks to the net quickly, and you cannot leave players inside you near the net. You've got to play on the defensive side of these players. The Flyers defense have to be on the other side and box these players out for the Carolina Hurricanes. They've got to let Ersson see these pucks. You've got to box out, and what does that look like? Here you can see Sanheim against Florida in Game 1. That's boxing out. That's being on the defensive side of the opposing player, and the Flyers defense have to do this all game long. And again, you're talking about box outs. You got to keep this area in front of Ersson open tonight against Carolina. You've got to defend the front of the net, and you got to defend the blue paint against the Carolina Hurricanes. The other thing you got to do is you got to generate more offense. And you're going to do that tonight by the Flyers. They got to get their defensemen involved in the offense, and that means you got to have an active O-zone. And what does that mean? You need to have defense like this as Sanheim creates movement and they crisscross. That confuses man-to-man coverage. And what happened when they did this against Florida? We were able to see Sanheim get an opportunity like this because they were active in the offensive zone. Their defense have to be involved in the offense tonight to create more. And it's got to be more than Cates' line. The Cates' line was outstanding. Cates led in both shots on goal and shot attempts in this game. He had looks like this, and they moved the puck quickly on this line. They were able to break out the puck quickly, which the defensemen for the Flyers are going to have to do. They got a quick breakout, got the puck up the wall. Great play by Brink, bumping this to the inside to Cates, and then Cates gets another look like this. That line was outstanding. It's going to have to be everybody else tonight has to get on board for this Flyers team. You're going to have to see their best players be the best players. And lastly, the goaltender's got to be good. Dan Vladar was great between the pipes, stopping 32 of 34. Ersson gets the start against Carolina tonight. He has got to be the best player for the Flyers tonight. And those are the things to watch for against the Carolina Hurricanes as the Philadelphia Flyers face off at 7 o'clock tonight.
What an awesome breakdown. Great job, Petey. That's fantastic.
Thanks, Steve. And unfortunately, because there's copyright rules, we can't actually show real videos. So I just wanted to point that out too. That's why we had just still shots.
We got the gist. We understand.
But this is what's interesting. One of the things Carolina does better than most teams in the National Hockey League is they work extremely hard. They're quick on pucks and they chase the puck all over. But what that does, and you saw it in the playoffs, that allows open areas in behind them. And I know Rick Tocchet is going to try to get and beat that speed. So look for the Flyers to throw more pucks out to the neutral zone. Look for them to try to get in behind that Carolina Hurricane heavy defending. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. This Carolina Hurricane team is good. They're quick, and they made some good improvements over the offseason. This is going to be a tough game for the Flyers.
It is going to be a tough game for the Flyers. And that actually really ties in very nicely to our Bet365 pregame picks today. This pregame pick segment is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So I got 3 picks for everybody today, okay? And 2 of them are Carolina picks because I am not confident. So first off, I like Shane Goss to spare 1+ points. That's plus 100. Love a revenge game, even if it's been years. It's been a while since Shane Goss to spare was a Flyer, but there's no way he still doesn't hold a little bit of a grudge, and he should hold a grudge after how they let go of him. I also like the Hurricanes minus 1.5 at 105. Flyers lost 6-4, 4-1, and 5-0 to Carolina last season. They got their butts beat by Carolina, so I'm liking the Hurricanes to cover the spread. I also like TK. So, okay, I wanted a homer pick in here, and this one I don't love, but you know what? Let's go nuts. Let's have a little something fun in here. TK, Travis Konecny, 2+ points, plus 400. TK has 22 points in 30 games played against Carolina in his career, 12 goals and 10 assists. So, you know what? You want to have something for the home team? I think that's the way to go.
I like it. I like your confidence in Konecny 2+ points. I like it. We'll see. I think for the Ghost, I think you're right. Gostisbehere is a guy that can help contribute he got 6 shot attempts in the game against New Jersey. He's a guy that got a power play assist. And I tell you what, Flyers got to stay out of the box, man. No more stick fouls, no more tripping, hooking. Like, they got to stop that stuff because you can't sit in the box against a Carolina Hurricane team that has players like Aho and Gostisbehere on the power play. Svechnikov's too fast, too good. Got to stay out of the box. So that's, again, we talk about the keys. They got to stay out of the box. And I'm going to come in. I know nobody asked me to make a pick, but I'm going to go off the board and go check. Steve, let's check the stats. I got Jett Luchanko anytime scorer tonight, and that will pay good odds. I'm telling you, Luchanko on that 4th line. Give a little tease to that one on Bet360.
I think Jett Luchanko, or if you go maybe Grebenkin, that could be a spicy one.
I like it.
I don't know where you find those out, but if you can find them, I say go nuts. I love that right there. So I want to get a quick promo in for the Flyers road trip. Are you guys ready for the ultimate Flyers getaway? PHLY and Philly Sports Trips are taking the diehards west for the California takeover with Flyers legend John LeClair, Johnny Vermont himself. From March 17th to the 22nd, we're hitting the West Coast for 2 huge games. First, the Anaheim Ducks and Cutter Gauthier, boo, at Honda Center, and then the LA Kings at Crypto.com Arena. Maybe Will Ferrell will be there. Who knows? Your package includes optional round-trip direct flights from Philly, a 5-night stay at the beautiful Sanborn Santa Monica, group tickets to both games, a Flyers watch party, and an exclusive meet and greet with John LeClair, Johnny Vermont himself, one of my all-time favorites. Oh, unbelievable. Plus, the Philly Sports Trip crew will be there to handle every detail, so you can just enjoy the sun, the sights, and the hockey. This is the California vacation every Flyers fan dreams of, with a couple wins to top it off. Spots are limited. Book your trip today at allphly.com/events. Man, that's going to be a great trip. And I think March in California, that's an awesome time right there. That's a great time of year to go.
Yeah, I can't wait. Maybe, are you going to be there, Steve-O?
I don't know. I hope so. Hey,
open my car and make a drive over.
Spam the PHLY. I'm kidding. I'm happy to be here. So I'll just leave it at that. But all right, let's get our final thoughts on the game. And Petey, how are we feeling about the Flyers tonight?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, Steve. But again, when you have a team that I think on paper is a little bit better than the team you have, I think you look for little wins. I think you're talking about creating more offense. I think you're looking more opportunities than they had in game 1 against the Florida Panthers. I do want to see Ersson match what Vladar did. I think those 2 things are going to be key. And then I want to see something happen on the power play. It's a power play that didn't get a shot in just over 2 minutes of power play time. They're going to have to find a way. And I know they're young and they're not used to each other yet, and it's going to take time. But I want to see the power play at least create some momentum for the 5-on-5 play.
Fantastic. Well, I'm just hoping it's a fun game. Let's do that hockey. And I just want to see some michkov magic tonight. You know, we didn't get to see any of that in the first game. TK came real close to getting a goal in that game. I'm still mad about that, but I think they can make some magic tonight. I just want to have some fun dang hockey. So let's go Flyers. Join us for post game. We're going to have a good time regardless if the Flyers win or lose this game. We are going to be here. We're going to be talking puck, and it's going to be a good time.
Thanks, Steve, for having me, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Petey. All right, thanks, guys. Let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.